بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Assalamu alaikum, my beloved ones, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We were doing yesterday ruling number 30. We did. Okay, we reached ruling number 45 from the Manasik al-Hajj of Ayatollah al-Uzma, Sayyid Ali Sistani Dz. And let me just pull the slides so that you can share with me the Arabic texts. So this is going down, and this is yes. Now, in the rules of nether, making a vow, uh, it's always a question: can a woman, can a wife make a vow without the permission of the husband? Like, vow, when do you make a vow? Something which is mubah, something which is recommended, you make it obligatory upon yourself by saying lillahi alayya. It is I'm making this upon myself. I'm making for Allah something obligation upon myself. Lillahi alayya. So, in the rules of Nadhr, if you have encountered what happens, because it's mubah or something which has weight in like heaviness in the Islamic system, respecting someone, for example, and all mustahab religious recommendation. Uh, so these things you can make it obligatory, like Salat al-Layl, like stopping smoking, for example. Okay. Um so I don't want to smoke, so I want to make myself make another, make a vow. Ya Allah, if I smoke anymore, I'll fast one day. Then the smoking becomes costly for that person, so slowly he has to quit, otherwise he'll be fasting and fasting and fasting. So so this kind of thing, uh nether, can be on wajib as well. What type of wajib? Where there's flexibility in the wajib. If there's no flexibility, you have to do it. Like what? Salat al-Dhuhr. You can pray it until like the salah becomes qada. Correct? So you can say, I'm making a vow, lillahi alayya, that I'm going to, for example, pray on time for 1 week. So though praying on time is not wajib, but salat is wajib. So it becomes wajib now. So it's an accidental, we call it wujub aridi, accidental. Initially something is not wajib, it becomes accidental wajib. Nadhr, vow or oath, half, yameen, these things, they make these, or ahad, covenant with Allah, they make something which is not wajib wajib upon you. But on wajib you cannot say, I make vow to pray dhuhr. No, you cannot do that, because you have to. So either it's something which has moral values, like quit smoking, or if it was not haram, if it's haram, then you have to quit without nether. So or you have to, like, it's a mustahab or makruh act, you make a vow to leave the makruh. Or no, something wajib which has some flexibility, you make another, that you are going to do it on time. Now, so what about if a wife, she wants to perform ihram with nether? Because the ruling says wife needs to take permission from the husband before doing any vow. any commitment, because there is a priority commitment for husband. The same thing goes for husband. There are obligations for husband towards wife, there are obligations for wife towards husband. When there are obligations and your vow will be conflicting that obligation, then that vow will not be valid, that nether will not be valid. Okay, all these nether rules I mentioned, it will not be valid if you have something obligatory to do and your nether is going to affect that obligation. Then yeah, like for example, you made nether that you're not going to work, or you're going to become hamamat al masjid. Hamamat al masjid, like some of the people in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were called hamamat al masjid, pigeons of the masjid of the Prophet. Day and night they are there, so they eat and they filth and everything there. Baba, go to your lives, go to your wives, go to your family. That's more obligatory than just sitting inside the masjid 24 hour holding a tasbih and doing Allah Allah, the hyperbolic irfani stage, which I call it. So in this case, what happens? This nether, if you are going to make nether to go for Hajj, recommended Hajj, and your wife needs you, your children need you, then your nether will be invalid because it's conflicting with the wajib, because there's nobody there to take care of them. And take the opposite example. If she's going to make another, okay, to enter the state of ihram, but the husband needs her for private relations, because one of the prohibitions of ihram is no private relations, any sort of private relation, the light ones and the heavy ones. Your wife becomes like a private relation. She's your wife. She doesn't become haram on you. It's not a divorce. Many people say, oh, you got divorced. No, 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 no. It's not divorce. It's just like no private touching, touching with lust, anything from small things to big things, no lust in it. That's the state of ihram. So if she's going to go do nether, and that is going to be conflicting with the private requirements of the husband, then obviously that nether is going to be invalid. So let's see what Sayyidi Sistani Damadullah says in the case of doing nether in the from the miqat without the permission of the husband. Can she do or not? Question number 45. إذا أرادت الزوجة أن تحرم بالنذر فيما قبل الميقات فهل يصح نذرها فهل يصح نذرها فهل يصح نذرها من دون إذن زوجها? Is her nether become going to be valid? هل يصح نذرها من دون إذن زوجها? Without the permission, is her nether vow going to be valid? So if a wife wants to enter the state of ihram via nether, like when? Not from she's not in the miqat. There's some time to go to the miqat. Let's say they are coming by car, or they're coming and she does nether from Jeddah airport, but still they might stay over in Jeddah at night. So they might stay over. Maybe the husband has some desire for private relations. So she is nether. She has done nether. She's in the ihram. She did nether, and so is her nether to become muhrim, where still there's time left? Is that nether going to be valid? So he says, yes, the nether is going to be valid. Naam. إذا لم يكن, as long as it is not going to violate the rights of husband, the private rights of husband from her, the lustful rights. Okay? إذا لم يكن منافيا لحق الزوج. But if the husband is going to also do nether, and she's going to do nether, and they both are going to become muhrim, they both are going to be haram each other. That's one scenario. Another scenario, no, the husband is sitting back home. You see? So what is the scenario that's sitting in back home, and she is there in Jeddah? That guy is in Michigan. She is in Jeddah. So what are the odds that the husband wants to, does he want to flirt with her, or talk some lustful talk on the telephone or something like that? Is that something which might happen? I don't know. But as long as, if the lustful desire of the husband is not going to be violated, the nadhr is correct. إذا لم يكن منافيا, as long as it's not going to go against the nadhr, entering the state of ihram, and there's still some time left for her to do labbaik, you see, like staying overnight in Jeddah or whatsoever. منافيا لحق الزوج في الاستمتاع منها, as long as there is no there is it's not against the right of the husband of having his private relations with her. So he gives an example: كما لو كان بعيدا عنها خلال هذه الفترة, as if he was in a scenario, for example, like he was away from her during this period. So he was in his hometown, she is in Makkah. Okay. Or they both did neither, they both entered the state of Ihram. أو كان الحج واجب عليها. Here is another strong cause for not the nether would not be invalid, even if the right of the husband of entertainment is going to be violated. Why? Because we have wajib and wajib. Fulfilling the rights of husband, or let's say opposite wife, okay, taking the necessary care of the wife. It's not like many times, oh, all wife. What about the husband? Yeah, both cases. That the situation is both. If you have wajib and you have wajib, which of them is awjab? More obligatory. Okay, more obligatory has to be followed. So here, Sayyidi Sistani Damudullah has that obviously he gave her permission to go for Hajj. Because if he had not given her permission, that means the Hajj is not obligatory on the wife. But if he gave permission and everything is in set, and it has become wajib upon her, then what will happen? أو كان الحج واجبا عليها كحجة الإسلام, or the Hajj was obligatory upon her, such as the first Hajj, حجة الإسلام they call it. والحج المستأجر, the hired Hajj. So when you get the payment from a person to perform Hajj niyaba on his behalf or behalf of the marhumin, so you have made a contract and you have an obligation to fulfill that contract. So in that case also, the permission of the husband will be ignored. So these two cases where the permission of the husband is ignored, or not two cases, we said husband is far away, husband is also performing the Hajj and Nadhr together, they both are getting into Ihram, or the Hajj is wajib upon the wife, first Hajj, or the wife has taken niyaba to perform Hajj on behalf of someone and they have already paid advance and she has spent the ticket and everything. So she is now committed to that obligation. So this is the conflicting scenario of wajib and wajib. والحج المستأجر عليه إذا كان الحج واجبا عليها كحجة الإسلام، والحج المستأجرة عليه يعني على الحج. So the Hajj which has been binding under the contract of hiring قبل زواجها. So here we have before her marriage. So Hajj became wajib upon her before marriage. She did not go for Hajj. She committed a sin. What was the ruling? If somebody is obligated to perform Hajj and does not perform Hajj intentionally, deliberately, able to, capacity is there, then Hajj becomes wajib. Even if he doesn't have money, he has to borrow, because Hajj has become wajib upon this person. And he did not go, he is required to pay off his Hajj. So before her marriage, the Hajj was wajib. It's on her before the marriage. That means before the obligatory rights of husband befall upon her, the Hajj has already befallen upon her. Or no, somebody gave her money to perform Hajj. before her marriage. So she became, the obligation to fulfill that contract of hiring upon her became before her marriage. So before the obligatory rights of the husband, there has been already a prior obligation. So now we have here four scenarios. Scenario number one, that the husband gives her permission. But what if he does not give her permission? Number one, should not be violating the special private rights of husband. Number two, the husband and wife, they both did nether, they both are in the state of ihram. So out of the question the lustful activities, unless if there's something else wajib, such as house rights and permission to leave or something like that, according to some of the maraja. Or the hajj was wajib upon her either by obligation or by a contract, hiring contract, before her marriage, before the obligatory rights of husband befall upon her. And وانحصر طريق الإحرام له بالنذر قبل الميقات. So the lahu means for hajj, lil hajj. And the only way she could enter the state of ihram was the ihram via nadhr. How? She was in the airplane. There's nobody going to take her to the miqat. There's no way she could go to the miqat by herself. The caravan would go together, and they would do nadhr, the caravan also. So the only way she has is to do nadhr in Jeddah airport and then go with the caravan. Okay. So in that case, there's only the only way for her. But if she had an option to just quit the nadhr and go to the miqat and enter the state of ihram in miqat, then she would have to do that. But that's not an option on her table. So that's why there is a restriction that the only way she could go is through nadhr. And the husband's permission, if he does not give, she can't enter the state of ihram. Because she can't do nadhr, she can't go for hajj. However, if the hajj was wajib before marriage, or by one of the two cases we mentioned, or the husband was also with her, or there was no violation of the rights, spousal rights of husband, then she can do the nadhr. Or if it was wajib and the only way she could go is, and the husband is not giving permission due to the spousal rights, the only way she could go is by nadhr, then she can just fulfill her wajib of performing Hajjat al-Islam, or obligated Hajj before marriage, or the Hajj was mustajara. Yes. كحجة وانحصر طريق الإحرام له. And the only way she could enter the state of ihram for Hajj, was بالنذر قبل الميقات, by vow before the miqat, place where you enter the state of ihram. وأما في غير ذلك فيعتبر إذنه في انعقاد نذرها. And other than these scenarios we mentioned, it is necessary for her to get the permission of her husband, so that her her vow could be valid. So what are the scenarios? She can skip the permission. The hajj became wajib before, okay, or the hajj is by hiring before marriage, or no, it was not going to go against the rights of the husband, spousal rights of the husband, such as being together or away from her in his hometown. Question number 46. في نذر الإحرام قبل الميقات، هل يكفي أن ينشأ نذر الإحرام في الطائرة أثناء تحليقها في الجو، أم لا بد من نذر الإحرام من مكان معين؟ So you are not going to, as we mentioned, the miqat is here. The aeroplane is passing by. You can see the miqat from this side, but you're not on the miqat. Okay, so so if you say here your intention, it's not valid because you're not on the miqat. Okay, so if you come to the miqat and the captain announce, you say lab, and the plane is gone. 500 kilometers per hour is the speed, average speed. So what will you say in this 500 kilometers per hour speed? Lab, even lab is like too much. La, baik Allahumma labbaik, khalas, gone. You did not enter the state of ihram. So what happens normally, mu'mineen, before arrival, before passing over the miqat, they do the ihram bin nadhr, okay, via vow. وفي نذر الإحرام قبل الميقات, entering the making a vow to enter the state of ihram before the miqat. Is it sufficient that the nadhr should be done in the airplane uh, while uh, while it is in the sky, okay, or it must be done in a specific place? That means in Dubai airport or Doha airport, those who are using Qatar Airways, or Manama, Bahrain, those who are using Gulf Air. So most of the people they use, or even Saudi Airlines, they stop in Jeddah many times, and then you get another flight to, I mean, Riyadh, and then you go to Jeddah. So these stops, do you have to do the nadhr while you are in the airport, or you can do nadhr in the airplane as well? He says يكفي أن ينذر الإحرام قبل الميقات. You see, he can do the nadhr before the miqat, wherever he is, however he is, as long as it's before the miqat. ولا يعتبر تحديد مكان الإحرام مضبوطا. You don't have to define the specific place where you are going to enter the state of ihram, because you made nadhr that you are going to enter the state of ihram before the miqat. Now, in the aeroplane, you don't have to say, I am going to enter the Lillahi alayya, I'm making upon myself an obligation that I'm going to enter the state of Ihram in the aeroplane in my seat number 14A or 14B, 14C, or beside the bathroom, beside the lobby. Beside, you don't have to say all these kind of things. You don't have to say even the aeroplane. You say just before the miqat, like some time before I pass over the miqat, enough that you are not passed while learning labba and your plane. So sufficient time. You say lillahi ali, for example, I am going to enter the state of ihram for my hajj al tamattu, umrah al tamattu, hajj al tamattu, hajj al islam, in the airplane before the miqat. Finish. You don't have to say in the airplane as well, before passing over the miqat. That means you keep all the options on the table, be it by car, be it by plane, by sea, by camel, by horse, whatever. Your nadhr was general, but nadhr was that before passing the miqat, you'll be already in the state of ihram. So he says, yakfi an yanzur al ihram قبل الميقات. It is sufficient that you make a vow to enter the state of ihram before the miqat. ولا يعتبر تحديد مكان الإحرام مضبوطا. You don't have to define the place of ihram with accuracy. You don't have to be accurate in pinpointing the place of ihram. Question number 47. هل يجوز الإحرام من مكة المكرمة للعمرة المفردة بالنذر؟ Yeah, this is what some of the people, they go to the Umrah, and they arrive in Mecca and they call, Sheikh, I'm Alhamdulillah, I arrived in Mecca. Now tell me what to do next. How can I enter the state of Ihram? I said, what? Go back to Jeddah, go back to out of the out of Mecca, out of the Haram. Okay. So, and then enter the state of there and come back. You have committed a sin. You are a sinner now. Okay, but I did not know. Why don't you learn the ahkam? Why don't you guys learn the ahkam of Umrah before? Like ziyarat, there are no wajibat except for qasr or tamam salah issues. Other than that, you just go ziyarat and do, and some of the obligatory rules for the entering the najasat and taharat issue for haram of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, haram of Ma'sums. So beside that, there's no So it is not ziyarah, it is like umrah, it's rituals, it's act after act, there obligation after obligation. If you mess up, you mess up with it. You stay in your umrah, you come back home, and you have to be in your state of ihram, like wearing those two white attires, like you're looking like a Dalai Lama, but instead of orange, you are wearing white, and you go to your work or university or school, and they look at you, oh, weird. We heard that Dalai Lama is orange, but are you neo-Nazi Buddhist or white Buddhist or something like that, wearing white or something like that? And your head is also, if you're shaved your head, you really look like. So this is the thing, that you mess up, you did not complete your umrah, you're stuck in your ihram. You come back home, and you know that you are still in ihram, get that libas of ihram on your body, go to your work, go wherever that body trains, whatever, but then find someone who could do, or you go back there and fulfill the umrah properly. So that is why this these people like this, what they call ruling 47 or question 47: هل يجوز الإحرام من مكة المكرمة للعمرة المفردة? Is it permissible to enter the state of ihram from inside Mecca for Umrah al-Mufrada, individual Umrah, not Umrah al-Tamattu, not Umrah of Hajj, Umrah, the entire year you can go for Umrah. But Umrah al-Tamattu are the season of Hajj, Shawwal, Dhul Qa'd, Dhul Hajj. Those who are confused, they have to go back to our previous sessions. It's been nether. Can I khalas? Can I just, I'm here, I'm inside. Can I do just bin nether? Sayyid Sistani, La yajuz. It is not permissible. بل لابد من الخروج إلى أدنى الحل للإحرام لها. Rather, one should go exit Makkah. Where? To the border of the haram. Remember حل والحرم هذا الذي تعرف البطحاء وطأته والبيت يعرفه والحل والحرم. Batha is the land of Makkah. هذا الذي تعرف البطحاء وطأته. His footsteps, Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam, his footsteps are known by the land of Batha. Okay? والبيت يعرفه, the Kaaba knows him. والحل يعرفه, والحل والحرم. The haram, sacred land, the border of Makkah. Every single thing, creation, living, non-living, everyone knows this person. And you say, who is this? Okay. And not just Makkah, even out of the Makkah. Hell. What is the limit of hell? Okay. Haram, we know. What is the limit of hell? Whatever is not haram. And what is not haram? The whole earth. And if you want to go more about Fadail of Ahlul Bayt, the whole universe is hell. You see? The whole universe is hell. And the haram is that border of Makkah. وَالْبَيْتُ يَعْرِفُهُ وَالْحِلُّ وَالْحَرَمُ. So he goes to Adna al-Hil. Yes. So what happens? He doesn't have to go all the way to the miqat. هل يجوز الإحرام من مكة المكرمة للعمرة المفردة? Because he's already in Makkah. Okay. So we let's clean up. Scenarios got mixed up. Two scenarios. Focus with me. A guy comes from outside, outside of Makkah. He enters Makkah and he calls me, Sheikh, now what to do? Go back to the miqat, original miqat. But Agha says you have to go to the border. No, that is for the one who's already in Makkah and done his ihram before. He wants to do another ihram. So this ruling here is not about initial umrah. هل يجوز الإحرام من مكة المكرمة للعمرة المفردة بالنذر? Is it permissible for a person who's in Mecca to enter the state of Ihram for Umrah al-Mufrad? He wants to do another Umrah and he's already in Mecca. He's done his first Umrah. With Nadhr, he goes, no. Go out. He has to go out to the border. But that person who's coming from Melbourne and Australia and Michigan, United States, or Spain, Malaga, or Brazil, or wherever, you see, Sweden, أتميز على جماعتنا Sweden. They come to Mecca and they come to the hotel and then they call, I'm now khalas, I'm settled down in my hotel. I said, what hotel? He said, Hotel Mecca. I said, how did you enter Mecca? He said, I just came and told the taxi and now I'm ready for the Umrah. I said, go back. Take a taxi, go back to the farthest miqat, the Juhfa, for you arriving Jeddah. Go to Juhfa or go Jeddah and enter with Nether from there. Okay? So this is the two different scenarios. This ruling is not specific, but it echoes the ruling which were already given between somebody is already in Mecca, properly entered, legally entered by Ihram, by Umrah, that's legal entrance of Mecca, and someone who's illegally entered and is coming from outside. So from the one who's coming from outside, an outsider, so he has to go to the any miqat. He can go to Ta'if, he can go to Juhfa, or he can go to somewhere before the miqat and enter the ihram in Nadhr and come back. So this is the difference between somebody's already in Makkah legally, he goes and to Adna al-Hil, where the border of Haram is. And if somebody was outside and he came in Makkah, no, go back to your Miqat. And obviously, there are grades and levels. Oh, I cannot go Makkah, this, and out of Makkah, I cannot go to Jeddah, I cannot go to Taif, I cannot go. It's very difficult for me. So then there are stages of rule what to do next, next, next. We have already explained it in our previous sessions. So go back to that, you will find it. So it's not, it's if you cannot, it's impossible. Let's say he got injury, he got problem, he's now somewhere in the hospital, he can only have wheelchair and this and that, God forbid, a lot of problems can happen, or his family cannot leave them or something like that. Anyhow, there's a scenario we cannot go all the way back to Miqat or back to Jeddah or something. There's some problem there. So no problem. There are levels as far as you can, and then if not and not and not so, they are mentioned previously. Why this is highlighted? Because this is what most of the mu'minin they fall into. So this is something which is, say, the Sistani's hesitation, damadullah. Some maraja they say it's okay. Some maraja they say it's not okay. Say the Sistani says it's a problematic, mahallu ishkal. When say the Sistani says it's problematic, mahallu ishkal, then what? Then he's not giving a fatwa. He's telling you, you can either refer to some other marja to get out of this problem which I have, or stick to the observe the precautionary measures. So what is the situation here? هل يصح نذر الإحرام قبل الميقات? Remember, either you become and become muhrim on in the miqat or before miqat via nadhr, vow. So this person is going to enter the state of ihram before the miqat. هل يصح نذر الإحرام قبل الميقات? Is it permissible for someone to make a vow to enter the state of ihram before the miqat? Yeah. What's the problem? No, but you know something, Sayyidina? There's a problem. I will have to go under the shaded buses, okay? Shaded buses in the daytime. Or I will have to look into the mirror. I have to do one of the violations of Ihram, one of the 25 things. Oh. Then say the sister says, oh. Then we have a problem there. How can you make a nether to enter the state of Ihram? And in the nether, there is a violation of Ihram. So your nether becomes invalid, because nether needs to be something which is pleasure to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you do a violation of ihram, you're displeasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? It does not fit together, pleasure and displeasure. So neither we said something preferable, something recommended, something even obligation, but there's a flexibility of time there. So we mentioned that. So, but you are making nether to violate the ihram. How can that be? How can that fit with the nadhr? You are understanding the concept? Nadhr to enter the state of ihram, and then you do a violation of ihram, and that is already in your intention. So here, say this is that's a problematic. Okay. So هل يصح نذر الإحرام قبل الميقات? Is it permissible? Like this happens to many. They do nadhr of ihram from Dubai airport, or from Doha, or from Bahrain, or from Oman, or whatever, Turkey, Istanbul. You see, they do the nadhr of ihram, and they get into the airplane, and the airplane is daytime airplane. So what's the problem with daytime airplane? One of the prohibitions of ihram, you should not be under the shaded means of transportation. Shaded. So can we have aeroplanes without roof? No, we are talking about the buses. Okay, that's why once upon a time, when you were not born, or maybe you were born, we used to travel on the top of the buses, and accidents would happen. Then they invented these buses, roofless buses. So you'll sit in the bus, but there will be no roof. Imagine those school buses, yellow, and there's no rooftop on it. So it's like open air. So that was with the time of Sayyid al-Khou'i. He used to say that when you're in the ihram, you have to expose yourself to the components of the air and sun. That means the wind, the sun, the rain, all these things. You cannot shield yourself from it. So that was Sayyid al-Khou'i Quddasa Sirruh. Unless if it was harmful, then all you pay a goat penalty and you get under the bus. Okay? Or if you're going to become sick, or God forbid, whatever circumstances, so you can skip sitting on the top or sitting in the open air. And if the rain is going to cause sickness to you, so what will happen? That you will sit inside the bus and pay a penalty, sheep. Okay, so that is the if you sit underneath, but no, I'll become sick at a necessary. Yeah, that's fine. We are not saying you're committing haram, but penalty is penalty. Okay, if you are not going to become sick and you sit, you're committing haram plus penalty. But if you are going to become sick, there's no haram, but penalty is there. Excuse me. The penalty is sheep. Okay, now here we understood. So one of the prohibitions of ihram is not shading. That was Sayyid al-Khou'i. Other maraja', they say shading is only from sun. So wherever there's no sun, whenever there's no sun, you can sit in the bus. You don't have to sit on the top. What does that mean? That means whenever you travel in the state of ihram, okay, travel at night. Majority of the maraja, they said at night you can travel because shading happens from the sun. Sayyid al-Khou'i said you shade yourself from the sun, from the rain, from the components of the wind. Let's say there was a sandstorm. Will you not shade yourself like this, or with umbrella in front of you and keep moving forward? So there is a protection from the components of the wind and everything. But the majority of the maraja, they said no. Shading is only from the sun. So if there is a time there is no sun, sit inside. So that's why many of the mu'minin, they travel by aeroplane at night time. They travel in buses while they are like traveling in the state of ihram, I mean. Okay. Like departing from Istanbul, your muhrim, for example, in the plane, departing from Dubai, from these countries where you have transit, or coming directly from your destination, like Pakistan, coming directly. So they choose nighttime flights. Why? Because there is no sun, then they don't have to pay kafara. Sayyid S Sistani Dz, he said no. Yes, at night there is no sun. So you can have shaded means of transportation. However, if it rains, then you'll have to give a penalty. because Sayyidi Sistani is rain and sun, two things. So that's why people they choose traveling at night. Now, if you understood the shaded concept of shading or shaded means of transportation of Sayyidi Sistani, Damadullah, you will understand this ruling. So he says, can I, it is permissible, will the nether be valid for ihram before the miqat, obviously? For a person who knows that he will be compelled to sit in the shaded means of transportation, سيضطر بذلك إلى التضليل ارتكاب التضليل المحرم, prohibited tadlil, not the permissible tadlil. Permissible tadlil is at night, daytime prohibited, where you have to pay penalty. So he knows that he will have to get on the plane in daytime or get in the bus from Jeddah to Makkah in the daytime. So he said that's a problematic. That means refer to another marja who allows that kind of tadlil, because many maraja, you see, they might have this rules of necessity. You don't have to pay penalty, or your ihram, your nether will be valid. For Sayyidi Sistani, he connects the nether with the prohibition of ihram. So if you make a nether and you know that you're going to violate one of the prohibitions of ihram, you're going to commit, then your nether has problem. You're making nether to do violation that does not fit the concept of pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see? So that some other maraja, they say, no, that's fine. Okay. Um, some other maraja, they might say, no, it's fine. There's no problem. You can do nether. And even if you know that you are going to be under, you can refer to that marja if the criteria of a'lamiyah is available. Okay. Al-a'lam fal-a'lam. After say the Sistani is your marja. So بذلك ارتكاب التضليل المحرم, that means that halal tadlil at night, there's no rain. Haram tadlil when it's raining and you go underneath it. And it's raining in the miqat, it's raining, and you know that if you are going to make another before the miqat, so what should we do? Go to the miqat. Don't do another to a precautionary measure, or refer to another marja, or arrive Jeddah and make sure that the rain stops. Then you make another for ihram, and you are going to take your precautionary measures. But then when it rains, we are going to explain that ruling. What if somebody did not know it's going to rain and it started raining, and he cannot stop the bus, he cannot stop the airplane, or giving them parachute and okay, you take this parachute, go out and do your tadlil and ihram and whatever you want to do. We can't stop the plane. Anyhow, so this is the situation here, that this highlighted why many mu'minin they do nether, and then after the nether they say we are going to travel in daytime, we are going to give penalty. It's not about the penalty. It's not about the penalty. It's about the nether being invalid, your ihram being invalid. Kiss your umrah goodbye, kiss your hajj goodbye. We are talking about the foundation of your ihram. You will not enter the state of ihram if your nether is invalid. Don't talk about we'll give the penalty. If your ihram is okay, then we talk about the penalty. Your ihram will be okay, just give penalty. But here we are talking about your ihram becoming invalid because the vow which you made was invalid. So it's very important for you guys who are going for Hajj and Umrah, for Umrah al-Tamattu or Umrah al-Mufrada, to make sure that these precautionary measures are observed. Otherwise, if Umrah you miss, khalas, no more loss. I mean, I lost money. Hajj, you don't want to lose $12,000 or $15,000. Okay, make sure that you know these rules. So this is the thing, that let's see this ruling which echoes the ruling. هل يصح الإحرام في مطار بيروت بالنذر? Here Sayyidi Sistani explains this further, the same ruling. Is it permissible for me to enter the state of Ihram from Beirut airport, for example? The ruling is same. الإحرام بالنذر قبل الميقات صحيح. Miqat of Beirut is Juhfa. It's in the north west of the Saudi Arabia, okay, northwest of Juhfa. So once arrived Jeddah, they go to Juhfa. But this is before even Juhfa, Beirut. Beirut is in Lebanon. Juhfa is in Saudi. So yeah, الإحرام بالنذر قبل الميقات صحيح. However, نعم، نذر الإحرام قبل الميقات مع كونه مستلزما للتضليل المحرم محل إشكال. However, entering the state of making the nadhr of ihram before the miqat, and that ihram is going to be is going to lead to that ihram might encounter the shaded, unlawful shading, or shaded means of transportation, or being unlawfully in a means of shaded transportation. That means you know it's going to rain, or you know your flight or bus is in the daytime. Then this nether becomes problematic. You need to solve it. So he gives an example. فلو نذر الإحرام من المطار. Therefore, if he enters the state of he makes a vow to enter the state of ihram from the airport, وكان يتيسر له السفر بالطائرة في الليل, and it was easily easy, he was able to easily travel by plane at night. Okay, it was feasible for him easily to travel by plane at night. من دون أن تكون السماء ممطرة, without the sky being raining, without the sky raining. فلا إشكال في انعقاد نذره. There is no problem in the nether being valid. Okay, so what happens that at the night, he was able to take a plane. وكان يتيسر له. He took the plane at night. من دون أن تكون السماء ممطرة, and there was no rain in the sky. So no rain in the sky. If rain in the sky, problematic. So he can take the plane at night, no sun, and there's no rain in the sky. So no sun, no rain at night. So his nether is okay. ويصح إحرامه, and his ihram will be okay, because his ihram is depending on this vow, nether. وإن أحرم في حال كونه مظللا على نفسه. Even if he was in the state of ihram, even if he entered the state of ihram under the means of shaded, because it was night, inside the bus he entered the state of ihram. But then it's not prohibited to enter for a muhrim to travel at night under the shade, as long as there's no rain. Okay, so it says وإن أحرم, even though if he entered the state of ihram حال كونه مظللا, while he was under the shaded, under the shade, على نفسه, he was by himself under the shade, so there is no problem. وإن أحرم في حال كونه مظللا على نفسه, he was shading himself, there is no problem at all, as long as there was no rain. We'll take these two rulings and we'll call it a day. هل يجوز عبور الميقات بالطائرة من دون إحرام لمن قصد النزول في جدة والإحرام منها بالنذر? Is it permissible to pass over the miqat in the aeroplane, like it happens many times? So people coming from north west, the aeroplane, Turkish Airlines, all the airlines coming from there, they pass over Juhfa, or they pass over Masjid al-Shajara coming from north, coming from Medina. Or northern areas from Medina. They pass over Masjid al-Shajara, they pass over the Turkish Airlines, passes over Juhfa, or Egypt Airways passes over Juhfa. They announce in the plane, you see. And for Gulf Airlines, they pass over Ta'if, Qarn al-Manazil, and the Yemen Airways and African, Tanzania, Air Tanzania, whatever airs there are, they come from south direct to Jeddah. They come from Yalamlam passing over. So the aeroplane is passing over the miqat. They do that to allow the people, whichever madhahib they follow, give them opportunity to just enter the state of ihram from the aeroplane, even by saying "Lab, ke- lab," and then plane passes over the miqat. So, is it permissible for a person to pass over the miqat in the aeroplane without entering the state of ihram, as long as he was going to enter the state of ihram from Jeddah we another? He says يجوز. It is permissible. إذا كانت الطائرة تعبر الميقات من أعالي الجو كما هو عادة كذلك. If the plane was going to fly over the miqat from above, obviously, okay, it's not going through the miqat, inside the miqat. Passing the miqat is haram. Like going through the miqat is haram. No, you have to enter the state of ihram. You should not miss your miqat. But flying over the miqat is not haram. إذا كانت الطائرة تعبر الميقات من أعالي الجو. If the airplane was going to pass over the miqat from the highest positions in the airplane, كما هو عادة كذلك, as it usually happens. نعم. إذا مدينة المنورة, there's a problem. Why? Because they say Medina al Munawwara, as the plane is departing, it is passing over the miqat. So that the plane is not so high. Okay, it could be like a height of the building, maybe 10-story building or something like that, or a little bit higher, but still considered in the vicinity of Medina, vicinity of Masjid al-Madina, because Masjid al-Shajara is 15 minutes away from Medina al-Munawwara, approximately, by car. 15 minutes. That 15 minutes, so that 15 minutes by aeroplane, the once the airplane is departing, it's going to fly over Masjid al-Shajara. The distance will be not too high. He says أعالي الجو. Okay. So نعم, however, إذا كان في المدينة المنورة, if he was in the Medina المنورة, فليس له ترك الإحرام من مسجد الشجرة والذهاب بالطائرة إلى جدة للإحرام منها. So he should not leave entering the state of ihram from Masjid al-Shajara and then go to the airport to Jeddah and then enter the state of ihram bin Nether. Why? There are three things. Focus with me. Number one, you should not pass the miqat, enter the state of ihram bin Nether. Okay, you should not pass. We said Nether is before the miqat. Before the miqat, you do nadhar, not after passing the miqat. Did you get this? So that's number one. So when you pass Masjid al-Shajara, you want to go Jeddah to enter the state of Ihram, you already passed your miqat. But you said from Jeddah one can enter the Ihram of Nadhr. Yeah. But then your miqat was not Juhfa, that the parallel line is of parallel line hits from north to south, Juhfa to Jeddah. No, you missed Masjid al-Shadar. You missed your first miqat. Juhfa is the second miqat. So that's number point of problem here. Problem number two, according to some of those experts, they said that let me see if I can draw something here to show you. So this is Medina, okay? Okay. So this is Medina, okay? This is Masjid al-Shajara. And this is the airport. Here, here, here. I'm not sure exactly. Tomorrow I can show it on the map so we can understand the ruling properly. So what's happening here? If this is Medina, as some said, because the sky level, if the plane is going from here to traveling, So this distance is not too high from Masjid al-Shajara miqat. Okay. Some said no, this is not the issue. The issue is you are when you are going to Jeddah, regardless of the height, you should not miss the miqat, because your miqat is Masjid al-Shajara, not Jeddah airport. So you should go to miqat first, then come to the airport, then fly. Okay? Because you have to enter the state of ihram from miqat. So you need to come to miqat, enter the state of ihram, then go to the airport and go there. So these are few technical things where Sayyidi Sistani says masjid for people coming from Medina, they need to enter the state of ihram from Masjid al-Shajara. So yeah. So it could be the height issue. It could be no, because your miqat is Masjid al-Shajara. Like majority of the ulamas, they say, if you're traveling from the airport, you cannot enter the state of ihram from the airport, because the airport is somewhere close to this area. Uh, so there is a problem here, technical problem. The majority of them, they say, no, your miqat is Masjid al-Shajara. If you are planning to fly, you need to enter the state of ihram in Masjid al-Shajar and go. So that's majority of the fuqaha. They say you cannot miss your miqat, you cannot pass your miqat, otherwise you'll be considered a sinner. So Sayyid Sistani, in this ruling, he pointed out a'ali al-jaw, highest, the plane was very high. Okay, so therefore, we have two things. One, in the previous ruling we had mentioned, miqat of people of Medina is Masjid al-Shajara. And whenever somebody is going to Makkah from Medina, he should not pass the miqat, Masjid al-Shajara. So that means he's going now to Makkah. He's going to go Jeddah. From Jeddah, he's going. So he needs to enter the state of Ihram from this what they say, Masjid al-Shajara. يجوز إذا كانت نعم. However, if he was in the Medina, فليس له ترك الإحرام من مسجد الشجرة والذهاب بالطائرة لجدة للإحرام بالنذر. He cannot leave entering the state of Ihram from Masjid al-Shajara and go to the airport so that he can go by plane to Jeddah and enter the state of Ihram from Jeddah via Nadhr. He cannot do that. So here, another elaboration. Ruling question number 51. إن الذهاب إلى جدة بالطائرة من الظهران. Dhahran is a city in the eastern province of Saudi Arabia, beside Kuwait and Bahrain. أو بغداد أو مدينة المنورة. So people, they are going to Jeddah from Dhahran, Baghdad, Medina. لا يصدق كونه تجاوزا للميقات. وبالتالي يجوز اختيارا الذهاب إلى جدة والإحرام للعمرة المفردة منها. فما مدى صحة هذا الكلام? It says that we heard that going to Jeddah via aeroplane from Dhahran. Dhahran means eastern province. They are going to pass over Taif. Baghdad, they are going to pass over Wadi Aqiq, Valley Aqiq. Medina al-Munawwar, they are going to pass Masjid al-Shajara. So it is not considered passing over the ميقات. وبالتالي يجوز اختيار الذهاب إلى جدة والإحرام للعمرة المفردة منها. So it is an option to go to Jeddah and enter the state of Ihram for Umrah al-Mufrada. How authentic it is. He says لا يصدق تجاوز الميقات في ركوب الطائرة من بغداد أو الظهران. بغداد okay, ظهران eastern province okay إلى جدة. Unlike بخلاف الطيران من المدينة. No, Medina, you cannot miss your miqat. Medina, you have, because Masjid al-Shajara is the miqat of Medina, people coming from Medina. So how can you miss your miqat and go to Jeddah? No, you cannot do like that. You have to enter the state of Ihram. Medina is exceptional case. Medina al-Munawwara. So لا يصدق تجاوز الميقات في ركوب الطائرة من بغداد والظهران. Baghdad, yes, you are in the high sky when you're passing Wadi Aqiq. Dhahran, you are very high in the sky, you're passing over. And it is not miqat of Dhahran, miqat of, but when you are in Medina, or miqat of people of Medina is Masjid al-Shajara. And according to some, the flight is going to be very low, and you're going to be passing your miqat without entering the state of ihram. In that case, if you are planning to go from Medina to Mecca, then you have to enter the state of ihram from Masjid al-Shajara, as we mentioned. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين